It started with a text, simple, sterile, calculated. Spoke to a lawyer about how your assets would be divided after marriage. I read it twice, then again. Not the words themselves, but the rhythm. It wasn't curiosity, it was reconnaissance. So I replied, practical thinking. She sent back a heart emoji, as if that softened the stench of intent. I sat there, staring at her message, feeling the quiet shift beneath everything we'd built. The kind of silence that comes before detonation. We'd been planning a life together. Guest lists, home decor, wedding playlists. But in that moment, I realized she wasn't planning a marriage. She was planning an acquisition. She thought she was subtle. Most people do when they start treating affection like investment. But I'd been trained to hear motives in tone, to see ambition hiding behind smiles. So I made my own call, to my attorney. We spoke briefly. I gave him a single instruction: make it airtight. By the time the sun rose, the prenup was drafted, cold, clinical, beautiful in its precision. When she saw it, her face cracked in real time. She tried to play it off at first, laughed even. "It's just a piece of paper," she said, brushing her hair back like it meant nothing. But her hands were shaking. The agreement was simple. What's mine stays mine. No loopholes. No emotional clauses disguised as compassion. Just numbers, facts, and signatures. She called it unromantic. I called it clarity. Then came the pivot. Her tone softened. She said she'd been scared about the future, that her friend suggested the lawyer. Her friend, divorced twice, living off settlements, wasn't a coincidence. She wanted me to forget it all. "Let's just start over," she said, voice trembling somewhere between guilt and calculation. But once you see intent, you can't unsee it. You can only measure how deep it goes. Over the next few days, her affection turned performative. Texts at odd hours, spontaneous dinners, touches that felt rehearsed. I watched her rebuild the illusion, brick by brittle brick. She thought the prenup had ended the conversation. It hadn't. It had only begun it. I started to notice the patterns. Phone face down on the table, deleted call logs, a new consultant she'd met for coffee, twice. I didn't accuse, I simply listened. She'd forget small lies, change stories mid-sentence. Her guilt was sloppy, her fear misplaced. I'd seen interrogation subjects like her before, the ones who believe silence equals safety. But silence only amplifies the noise inside them. So I waited, collected fragments. Her emails syncing to the shared tablet. Her search history. Can a prenup be voided? Emotional coercion law. Interesting choices. I wasn't angry, not anymore. I was clinical, detached, watching the theater of manipulation unfold with morbid fascination. At dinner one night, she reached across the table, touching my hand. "I don't want us to drift," she said softly. "We already have," I replied. Her smile froze halfway through. She didn't realize it yet, but the test was over. The results were conclusive. I invited her over the following weekend. Candles, dinner, calm. She smiled when she walked in, relieved. She thought the storm had passed. After dessert, I handed her an envelope. She hesitated before opening it. Inside, an updated prenup, signed only by me. Her name absent. She looked up, confused. "What is this?" "The final version," I said. "The lawyer added new clauses, just to make sure everything's fair." Her eyes scanned the lines, each one sharper than the last. Every asset tied to pre-marital ownership. Every safeguard doubled. And a final clause: in the event of marriage dissolution, neither party is entitled to spousal support of any kind. Her lips parted. "You don't trust me?" "I trust what people do," I said, "not what they say." She started crying, shaking her head. "You're ruining this." "No," I said quietly. "You already did. I just drew the boundary." That's when her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, too quickly, reflex. And that's when I saw the name, her consultant. Everything aligned in that second. The lawyer, the prenup, the sudden urge to start over. It was never about love. It was leverage. I didn't raise my voice, didn't demand explanations. Instead, I picked up her phone, placed it gently on the table, and slid the prenup beside it. Both of these, I said, are records of intent. Her tears shifted from guilt to panic. I didn't mean. Meaning doesn't erase planning, I said. Then I stood, walked to the window, and sent one message, to my attorney. Within minutes, the engagement contract, venue deposits, and joint accounts were nullified. Every connection severed before she could even breathe the word why. She stood frozen. You're really doing this? I turned back, voice calm. No, you did. Now the house feels quieter, cleaner. No laughter, no perfume, just order. Sometimes her texts come through, apologies dressed as reflection. I don't respond. I archive them like evidence. People think betrayal is loud. It's not. It's methodical, whispered, premeditated under the disguise of care. She wanted partnership. What she meant was possession. I wanted honesty. What I got was theater. The difference between us? She built a strategy to gain control. I built one to end it.